the conscious coach, Ololade James, your parental coach, your child advocate. Here I am today again, and happy Sunday to us. It's another beautiful weekend to talk about parenting tips, to talk about our children, to talk about where we are lagging behind as parents, to discuss the vital and the cogent things in parenting. We've discussed a lot of topics, and I would ask my subscribers or incoming subscribers to do well and go back to some of our videos to watch. Give it a like, a subscribe button, and also a comment. This will help our community grow faster to the real world, so that people tend to more people tend to learn things and also see where they are lagging behind in parenting. As a parent, sometimes we don't see our mistakes, we don't know our mistakes, or possibly you don't even know what you're doing is a mistake to the emotion of your child until you see someone say something about you. You see someone make a comment, until you see someone tell you, like, call you back and give you that particular idea that this and this are not really good for your children. So these are things we do on this channel. We talk about children, we talk about parents, we talk about how to parent your child perfectly, how to raise an healthy kid, how to ease them from the trauma that you've gone through while growing up. So that's what we do on this channel, and I'm so glad that I do this. I really love doing it because it's actually helped the world in relieving of trauma. And for the past few days, I've been talking about nurturing or healing through the mothers, which I've been posting on my page, and I know some people have been following up. If you have not, kindly go back to some of our videos and do well to give a like and comment. So today we are going to talk about a very cogent topic, a very cogent one at that, something most people don't really talk about. Something, I usually come with what people don't really talk about like that. People tend to want to cover it or brush it up, but mostly I see it as something you have to say, because even the people that does those things might not know they are doing something bad, or might not even know what they are doing is wrong, except we talk about it. And that's why I take it upon myself to talk about it. So today we'll be talking about narcissistic parents, or narcissistic parenting, whatever way we want to put it. Narcissistic parenting or narcissist parents. What do they give out? What are the things that exhibit that you are a narcissist as a parent? What are the things you see in yourself or in your parenting that will makes you know that you are being narcissist? So these are things we want to discuss about today. We've talked about healing through the mothers, where we are going to be healing through ourselves, healing through what our parents has parented us about, healing through the conditions we have in place or the traumas that have been imbued in us while growing up. But today we'll talk about those narcissistic traits, those traits that we need to see, that we will be seeing in ourselves, that we'll be conscious about. I usually mention this, that as parents, you need to be conscious of your parenting skills. You need to be conscious of yourself. Call yourself to order. Let yourself know that am I really on the track? Because obviously we are parenting a full-grown adult in the making. We are making a full-grown adult in the making. They are still very young now, but very soon, in the nearest few years, before you close your eyes, between a twinkle of an eye and you open it, you see they are all grown up. Whatever way we imputed it or implanted in them now, and what we are going to see in the nearest few years. This is why I said we must be conscious, and that's why I named myself after the word conscious parenting, be conscious coach arena. So I talk about parent, and I also talk about how to nurture our kids the right way. So narcissistic parents, what is a narcissist? Who are the narcissistic parents? What are the traits you see to call yourself back to order and know that these are narcissistic traits? These are things I'm not supposed to do. What are the things you know? What are the things you see? What are the things you call yourself back to? Narcissism is all about controlling. It's all about having manipulative emotions. It's all about being a part of just yourself, thinking about yourself. You can either call it as being selfish, we can call it as being controllable, or being in a manipulative way. Narcissists are filled around all over the world now that they themselves can't even identify themselves as narcissists, because they believe what they are doing is the best situation, or is the best behavior, or is the best attitude they can give. And they always see themselves as the best set of themselves, as the one that is always very good with their attitude. Meanwhile, they have narcissistic traits. Narcissistic trait is when you start controlling, when you only see your world as being perfect, your own actions and word, are what is being right. You don't want to hear someone else's own. You don't want to hear idea or hear their voice in speaking. You only want your voice to be heard, and your voice to be your words to take, or to dominate, to take control. No, now, so as parents, we tend to mistake controlling with guiding our children. Guiding is different from controlling. When you are guiding a child, or you are guiding your child or someone very close to you, you are guiding means you can give them ideas, you give them some tips, or give them ways, give them experience, talk about experience, you give them what you have gone through, you show them ways and paths and tracks of where they are supposed to go. Why controlling is when you impose a particular thing on children, or on a particular person you are trying to train. You are imposing a duty, you are imposing a particular pattern on them. That is controlling. So, and the major characteristics of a narcissistic parent is controlling and not wanting to hear the voice or the opinion of any other person. So mostly we parents, or let me say most parents, usually tame or confuse the word controlling with the word guiding. Our point, or our duty as a parent, is to guide, nurture, and direct our children, not to subject them to a particular pattern, not to subject them to a particular decision. Like I usually say, most parents has been traumatized, or have been nurtured and has been parented the wrong way, or in a traumatized way. So they felt that's the best way a parent could parent their child. So this is a call out, like I usually say, like you need to check yourself. The moment you start controlling and you are not guiding, you start controlling and manipulating, and everything is centered to you as a parent. Like, it is only all what you say that must come to pass. It is only all what you say that must be adhered to. These are tips to know that you are getting narcissistic traits. You need to be aware, because the moment you're not aware and it gets into your habit and it gets into your emotion, you are already going to be in that motion, and it will be so hard to remove. And when these children that you're parenting get to a particular age and they begin to mix with the real world, get to learn more experiences from every other places, they see your fault, and they know they are going to know that you have been treating them in a narcissistic trait ever since. And the only thing they have to do is to move away and shift away from you being a narcissist parent. A narcissistic parent will always control their child. They always want to be the subject of every discussion, the center of every advices. Even narcissistic parents go to the extent that their children don't have any sense of humor at all. They don't see their children, or their adult child, or adult teen, or children in their early teenager years could not even make sense to them. They feel all what they say is what makes sense. They don't see any good in what anyone else says. Narcissistic characteristics also involve you always wanting to be the beginning of every discussion. So it's different when you nurture a child. When you nurture and guide a child, or a nurture and guide someone, you are going to put them on track. You're going to guide them. In fact, you allow them go freely so that they get to what? Gain experiences by themselves. And you allow them to what? Give opinion of what they felt. There is no child that does not have an opinion to give. You allow them speak their mind. Let you hear them out. Let them air their own opinion. So when their opinion is aired and you know what they say, where they are trying to get to, you can now what? Try to advise them towards their opinion. Try to direct them that, okay, now I understand what you're saying, but if you go this way, this is the likely way this thing is going to come out with, based on your experience that you've seen or what you have gone through. You can now guide them and direct them and let them know. But narcissistic parents are always standing on their point without hearing the opinion of their children. That includes their adult children. You see them imposing, don't go out today. Now, this is not a way to say you should not discipline your child, or this is not a way to say don't put disciplinary methods on ground or on imposition for your children. No. Narcissistic traits are always very different, in the sense that you always want everything to be followed by your own order. You don't want to bend, or you don't want to even compromise your own words. Words are always very strong for narcissists. Narcissists are always very strong with their word, and they are always very what? They have a way of gaslighting. They have a way of limiting every other opinion that is coming forth around that their subjects. So as a parent, the moment you start seeing yourself doubting or removing options from every other person's and trying to focus on just yourself, and it's seeming like you have been selfish with your decision, being selfish with your subject, then you should know that you are exhibiting narcissistic traits. So that's where narcissistic traits begin. It begins gradually. And it could be as a result of the traumas you have passed through. So you are relating, or you are exhibiting some of those trauma in a narcissistic way. This is why I usually say, as a parent, heal from whatever trauma you've gone through. And how do you heal? You can only heal when you talk about it frequently. You talk about what you have gone through. You voice it out, you air it out, or you meet a therapist. And the work of a therapist will be telling them what you have gone through as a child, airing your own opinion, what you think should have gone, the way you think things should have gone while you were a child and you were not allowed. So the moment you don't heal from your inner self, inner child, you tend to what? Exhibit such characteristics in the life of your children through your parenting skills. And that's when narcissistic traits begin to exhibit, begin to be seen. And you see such parents trying to control, trying to dominate every aspect of their children's life. That includes adult children. They want to make the decision for marriage. They want to make the decision of where they are supposed to be at a very particular time. They want to make the decision of what to eat and what to wear. It goes deeper into making the decision of who to marry, and even on spiritual matters, like what church should be attended, and things those children need to involve in. This is different from being a disciplined parent. A disciplinary would always give a very strict and a very good advice, like this and this is what we are supposed to go through, and this are the right way and the right path you're supposed to pass, not cogently standing on every point in the atmosphere of the home. Now, narcissistic parents or narcissists tend to what? Make every other opinion or every other discussion belittled to whatever they are saying. They tend to damage or twist every other part of the discussion from every other human or every other person bringing opinion. They see it like like it's against their own way, it's against their own decision. So the moment it's against their own decision, it's not going their path, they tend to what? Demeaning it and kind of demolish it, such that that opinion will not be followed. So as parents, we need to call ourselves back, and we need to always be conscious, like, what am I doing? Am I actually parenting? Am I actually nurturing a child or guiding them, or being narcissist or revealing narcissistic traits to my children? One effect, or let me say effect of narcissist as a narcissistic training to children, or narcissistic parenting, is that it makes the children doubt their self. It makes them doubt their self, like their sense of self. You see them start asking themselves, am I actually good enough in making decisions? Can I even make decisions? Because obviously every decision I'm making, my parents are always saying is not good. That is not what I'm supposed to do. They tend to what? Narcissistic parents tend to be below, demeaning every opinion or every decisions every other person is bringing up, because of that narcissistic trait in them. And most narcissist parents don't even know they are narcissists. They don't know, because it's already part of them. You see them also trying to spoil or demeaning the other person bringing that decision. They tend to what? Demeaning such person. Like, okay, for instance, maybe a decision on relationship in the house. Then the parent, or let me use for instance the mother now. The mother is being adamant and pointing on one person is not supposed to be in this place is supposed to be this way. And you now see a child, maybe the first child, standing up like, why can't this person be here? Why not let's do it this way and do it that way? You see that parent standing on that point that, no, what you're saying is not right. You don't know what you're saying. You're not going to, you can't say it this way. This person can't be here. So that particular parent will keep demeaning that first child, that what you're saying is not good. And you see every other person keeping quiet to see who is going to win that discussion. Now, if that discussion is still, if that first child is still standing on that point, like, this thing is supposed to be this way, mommy, why can't we do it this way and see? Why can't we do it this way and see? And the mother is still standing, no, we can't do it this way. You don't want to give any other person a benefit of doubt. That's narcissistic traits. Being self-centered, being controlling is narcissistic traits. Then you see such parents going behind the first child, talking to every other children in the house, maybe the second, the third, and the fourth, that, can't you see what she's saying? All our decisions, all our discussions are always off point. All our discussions are always different. Someone that does not even know what she wants in life, someone that does not even know how to do this, then begin to point out the maybe the shortcoming of such first child, just so that our words will not be relevant, our words will be demeaning, so that every other person will see reasons to our own opinion. That is a narcissistic trait, and it happens in home. Yes, it happens in some home, not every homes anyway, but most homes, they have this kind of parents where you see them demeaning the other person just so that their own opinion could matter, because they still want to feel that presence of controlling. It's already in their psychics. Is already in their inner psychics. Their psychology is always built for competition. They compete with their children, even with their children, because you see them trying to want to be as the boss. They don't want to be left. They don't want to come down from that level of that controlling, and they don't want to let go of their guard. They are always wanting to be at the point of subject, point of making decision. As parents, our duty is not to be the boss or to be the overall. Our parents, our duty is to always guide, nurture. And the moment you see you've guided your children, you've guided them to some extent, and they are now what? In the right mental ability to decide, to make some decision, maybe in their early 20s or in their early adulthood, you allow them make decisions. You allow them, just guide that decision. This is not to what? Remove your power or your autonomy as a parent. You are still going to be the parent. It is not demeaning you as a parent. It is not reducing your standard. This is you trying to like sit back and watch what you have built over the years standing the right way you wanted it to stand. So, but narcissistic parents will always see that as a competition. The moment they start seeing a child making a point or trying to not go their the way they are going, they tend to want to see that child as a competition, like the child is trying to take over their own duty, or the child is trying to like be the one that will be making decision in the house. They see it as competition, and it's a very bad trait, because obviously once it gets to a very point in the life of those children, and they tend to mix, like I said earlier, they mix with every other children, they mix with every other adults, and they tend to see that you're a narcissist. You see them drawing back. These days I've seen it online where you see adult children withdraw from their parents. They withdraw. Once you see adult children withdrawing from their own parents, adult children, you should verify what has gone wrong. Something must be fishy. Something has gone wrong while that parent was parenting those children. And now narcissists could pick a particular child. Narcissistic parent could pick a particular child to face in the house, maybe to always antagonize. Once that child is not being at their subject, the child is always thinking in a different notion from that parent's decision or from that parent's notion. You see that child being the center of attention, the center of distractions every time. Then you see such parents always antagonizing that child and always confronting that child because the child is not at their subject. The child is not standing under their control. They are not able to control such child fully to what they really want. And that's when you see a lot of buhaha. Let me use it that way. A lot of buhaha always happening between that child and the narcissistic parent, because such child will be like a competition or someone trying to demean their standard as a parent. Meanwhile, our duty as a parent is always to what? Guide, nurture, direct. Allow children also voice. Let them talk. Let them say their own. Hear their opinion. There are sometimes their opinion matters even more than what you're saying. Okay, now for instance, I have a situation. I have an instance I will give. There was a time my younger child was still very small, and we usually go out to churches, to events and the rest. Then people tend to carry him. A lot of people want to carry him because he's so beautiful. And yes, I will use the word beautiful because he looks like a girl. So they carry him up and down. They want to carry him. Then my older son, I think he was 9 years or 10 years then he came to me. He was like, I don't see anything bad in people carrying him up and down and the rest. Then he came to me and said, Mommy, why are you always allowing people to carry my brother? Why are they always wanting to carry him? Haven't you questioned this? Why are you always wanting them? Why are you always allowing them to carry him? You know, as a narcissistic parent, you can decide to shut that child up. But I asked him, I said, what do you think? What's going on? Is it bad? Then he was trying to he gave me a proverb that day, and he said, let's say he used the word orange. You know, this orange, like an orange seller that usually a peeled orange, you know, a peeled orange that has been peeled on the tray. If the seller always allows someone to touch, at the end of the day, a particular orange or most of the orange will be stained. Then the next person coming to buy that orange would not be able to choose, because all of the oranges are stained. So he gave me that analogy. To God, I have not think to that extent. Like, I have not heard it. My reasoning, let me say, I didn't reason to that extent. And I said, how is this related to carrying your child, your brother? He said, the moment they still keep carrying him, there are some things that might be going out. This people that are coughing, people that have a particular illness will carry him. This one will carry him. Then at the end of the day, the child will get sick. So he was making points. Let's assume I have shut him up. Like, what do you mean? What do you know? Keep quiet. And that's how I would not even reason. I wouldn't even get that analogy he was trying to give. And I was bravoed. In fact, I gave him a thumb up and I had to clap for him. Like, okay, now I understand the point you're coming from. But narcissist parents would not want to hear their own child out. Even if they hear the child out, they would want to demean whatever the child says, because they see that child as a competition. They see that child that is trying to derail their own words, their own decrement or verdict. Most of them are always on a verdict. They are always seeming like everything they say is a verdict and people must follow it, especially their children, because of their controlling ability or controlling attitude. They like to control. They want everyone to be under them, a subject under them. And children are not like that. Children are supposed to be let open, so that they gather experience. Children are not people we should always toy with. We should always train like a robot. You allow them explore, you allow them say things, you allow them reuse their brain. They have been wired, their brain are also intact, like a full adult old. Even if not fully grown, the only difference is it's still on a plain sheet. There are no experiences, there are no guidance yet, there are no words written there, and that's why they go to school, so that things can be imprinted on their brain. And that's why they need your guiding and nurturing, so that things will be information will be gathered on their brain. So it is not a medium. Parenting is not a medium to control, to subject your children, to belittle them under you. This is what narcissistic parent does. Every other thing, especially someone that they've eyed a particular child in the family, that this child is always antagonizing me. So this child, anything that is coming from such child is going to be totally useless. Even if it's a good point, they would want to demean that point such that that word of that child does not stand. You hear them say, you can't dictate for me. You can't be the one that will say what I will do. Even if what the child is saying is good, because of that ego, like, I am a parent, I'm the one that is supposed to make decision. You see them demeaning that point, and those are narcissistic traits. You need to watch it. We are now in an era where so many things has evolved. As a parent, you need to evolve, you need to learn, you need to heal. I usually say this word, as a parent, you need to relearn, you need to unlearn. And your children are not a point or a program that you need to prove yourself as a good parent. No. Children are supposed to be allowed to do some certain things, so that they make mistakes and they correct themselves. Yes, your children are not standard of you proving yourself as a good parent. They are not supposed to act in a certain way such that everybody will now see that you are a good parent. No. They are human, they are not robots. They are supposed to be allowed to air their opinion, and they are supposed to be allowed to talk back, not in an abusive way. Now talking back could now be the way you have acted, or you have trained them right from onset. Talking back could be in an abusive way to some children, because maybe they've been trained in a very spoiled way. While talking back to some children could be in a way that it will bring some medium of understanding, like, oh, mommy, why can't you allow us do it this way? So it depends on the cordial relationship, on the relationship you have with your children, that will now decide the talking back. Now, it's also related to some children that are not even allowed to talk back. Every decision that is being made, yes sir, Okay, sir. Yes, ma. Okay. Then you see such child going backward to like, oh, why am I going to do this? Why am I asked to do this? Why am I always asked to do that? Even adult children, you see them timid, not wanting to make mistakes or make decisions for themselves because their parents have made a verdict. Adult children, yes, it goes as deep as that because it has been inculcated in them right from childhood, and such child will not be able to make decisions for themselves, even on things where their parents are not even supposed to make decisions for them. Things where they are not supposed to call their parents into. You see them not being able to stand in their place of work, to stand and make decisions. Most of them tend to go back home and discuss the situation with their parent first. Then the parent now say, why can't you say this? Why can't you do it this way? Why would you allow them to do it that way? Then that thing that the parents say is what they will go back to go and say in their place of work, because they've been built in a way that they could not make decisions for themselves. These are the disadvantage of being a narcissistic parent, or training a child in a certain way that child is not able to air their own opinion and not being able to voice out the right time. Allow children sometimes talk. Let them make decisions for a certain situation in the house. Maybe a situation is going on in the house. You can call your 10 years old, your 15 years old. Okay, make the decision. Let's see, how do you think we can handle this? What do you think we should do in this situation? This is you putting them into the front line and building them in a way, in such a way that they could make decisions when time comes. You see them, when you ask for their opinion, you see them say some things that you don't even know your children knows about. You see them say some things that you can't even relate, like, are you sure this is my child saying this? Where did he get this knowledge from? Where is he getting this idea? Where is this child? I don't know you are this smart. You see them saying things that will baffle you, like, oh, my son is this smart. So allow children make some decision in the house. Let them make decision. Let them make certain decision, and let them hear their opinion and hear how smart a child you are growing or grooming. So such child that you have been allowing to make decision from maybe age 10, age 15, then you keep allowing them, training them in a way they make decisions for themselves, or even certain decision in the house, you allow them discuss about it or talk about it and make their decision stand. You see that child will be so confident. Such child will be confident in making decisions later in life. Such child will believe in their self, in their sense of self, like, wow, if my mom and my dad could allow me be the one to decide on this, then I'm good, I'm smart. Obviously, not every time though, but you allow them build that self-confidence. You allow them speak. Then you see their sense of self standing. You see them standing with head high and their chin up. Not the timid one that is always below, trying to hear other people's opinion, trying to, like, if this one say, maybe in their class, it is until A, B, C, and D talk their own opinion before that particular person can also talk. Then you now see them that they will now say, I second what this person is saying. Okay, I will move with the option of this. They are always, those timid children are always the one at the end of supporting every other thing everybody has said, because they don't have a voice of their own, and it has started from their home. They are always shut up. Their opinion doesn't matter. They don't even allow them talk back. They don't even allow them air their own opinion, and their parents don't even allow them exhibit their psychological smartness. They're not allowed to use their brain, and this way the children, their brain is being demeaning. You see them fully standing on their parents. You see them fully depending on their parents, and these are narcissistic traits. Narcissists always want the children or people around them to depend on them solemnly, and no other person should be the subject of those decisions. So this is a call to parents. Allow children be children, exhibiting their smartness, examine their smartness. How well can they make decisions, even to as small as the age of 5 years old. Let them talk in some situation. Call them to some certain things. How do you think we should do this? Should we do it this way, or should we do it this way? This is not that you just want you want to what hear, or you want to follow their opinion as at that age of 5. This is just to make them know that they need to also talk. They need to also know how to interfere in some certain affairs at home and some decisions in life. They need to know how to make it. But if you are the parents that always shut your children up, a narcissistic parent, like controlling your children, always at the center of your own decision, then you are trying to like demeaning your child. The effect of this is it gives low self-esteem. Yes, low self-esteem has a lot of reasons. You see some adults having low self-esteem. They have it. They are very timid. They could not even talk well. They can't even face the crowd. They are not confident. These are caused by so many traits, and that include narcissistic traits from parents. So they be like, oh, everything I'm always saying, it doesn't matter at home. Everything I'm always saying, my mom always had the final decision. These are children that are always mommy's children. They always want tagged as mommy's boy or mommy's or daddy's child. They always center all of their decisions to their parents. Anything that wants to go wrong, even in higher institution, they would have to involve their parents before they make a decision, or before they make the slightest decision. Let me use it that way. So this is not good for children, because you are not building them for the world of today. The world of today tells that children have to be confident enough to sell themselves. The world of today tells that children have to evolve. The world of social media, children have to be bold enough to come out to sell themselves, to tell them to tell the atmosphere or the environment that they are good. This is a world where children now need to stand on their own. A world where they sell things online. People buy houses online, buy this online, buy that online, buy clothes online. This is an era where children need to be built with confidence. So narcissistic trait is not going to help. So that's why parents need to evolve, parents need to unlearn, parents need to relearn. And as well, parents need to what? Heal from their inner self, such that they don't parent wrongly. Yeah, this is what I brought for us today, and I believe you've gathered so many information. You don't have to be a narcissist to your children. Narcissistic traits are not good in any way. It damage the subjects, it damage those people you are controlling. It damages them inside. It doesn't give them the ability to express their self. It doesn't give them the ability to evolve, to stand the test of time of the world of today, because it's going to definitely make them timid, make them confused, make them lack esteem. In fact, it leads to inferiority complex. People that have been subjected under narcissistic training tend to have inferiority complex. They belittle themselves in anything they see. Anywhere they get to, they belittle themselves, like they don't want to even talk. They don't want to be the center of attention. So if you know you have good things or good intention for your children, you need to start building them from now, from the very slightest moment, from 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Allow them make decisions, allow them talk, allow them make mistakes, so that you can direct and guide them and nurture them the right way, so that they can stand on themselves, like they depend on themselves even when you are not around. This is Be Conscious Coaching Tips. So I'm glad we are here today. Thanks for staying by, and I really appreciate everyone that has participated. Thanks for your comment, your like, and this is where we're going to put it on an end for today. And I'll see you guys some other time, possibly next week Sunday. Thanks for staying by. Bye for now.